So the last remaining piece to fall from the Trump crimes cover-up industrial complex, as I'm calling it, is Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, who submitted his resignation yesterday, and it will be effective in the first 10 or 11 days of May, I believe. And Rosenstein was sort of a question mark for a while, in the sense that early on, Rosenstein could have been misinterpreted as maybe a force for good. We couldn't completely tell. Maybe he was going to get in there and make sure that things happened the way they were supposed to happen in the Mueller probe. Maybe Rosenstein would resist letting Trump use the Justice Department like his own sort of piece of silly putty for his personal benefit. But in the end, Rosenstein ended up being a lapdog. And as the Washington Post reported last year, he told Donald Trump on the phone that he is on Trump's team. More recently, he stood up there behind William Barr during William Barr's propaganda press conference, looking sort of like a golden retriever who just wants to please their owner and is worried he did the wrong thing, and stood by as one of the most blatant and obvious miscarriages of justice was completed by Donald Trump and by William Barr and by the whole lot of them. And there's a lot to say about this resignation because it really represents so many things. The letter itself, if you look at Rosenstein's resignation letter, is a disgusting document. And we don't know yet whether this was force-fed to him or he wrote it all by himself like a big boy, but it's vile. And I'm not going to read it all to you, but Rosenstein praises Trump in the letter for the courtesy and humor that Donald Trump exhibited during his phone calls with the deputy AG, which is weird, number one, because normally the president wouldn't be having phone calls with the deputy AG when that deputy AG is overseeing an investigation into the president. It's weird, number two, because we've never seen any evidence that Donald Trump actually has what we would call a sense of humor. And then he just praised Trump. He praised Trump's accomplishments on opioid abuse. He praised Trump's accomplishments on consumer protection, on immigration enforcement. It was a letter that sort of pretended that things are just normal and that this is a normal administration. And obviously the accomplishments that Rosenstein claims Trump has to his name are bogus. But more importantly, the real accomplishment for Rosenstein is that he participated in and oversaw one of the most blatant public subjugations of the processes of justice in the United States for the partisan purposes of protecting Donald Trump, period. That's the real accomplishment, which Rosenstein ultimately has on his resume and which will likely let him make a lot of money once he's gone from the Justice Department. And much like William Barr, Rosenstein is a guy who knows how to manipulate circumstances to get a president out of trouble. The opioids, the other stuff, I mean, give me a break. Nobody's buying that unless you are already completely in the tank on this sort of no obstruction, no collusion witch hunt side of things. Jonathan Chait wrote a really interesting article this morning in New York Magazine, and he says, he points out that the most concerning thing here is that in normal situations, presidents don't have personal conversations with the deputy attorney general at all. And in particular, as I mentioned, when the deputy attorney general is supervising an investigation into the president, why are they having casual conversation where Trump's being funny? That's an extraordinary red flag. And we have to wonder, I mean, think about future generations. What will future generations learn from this fiasco involving the White House and the Justice Department and these sort of marginal characters that are on the periphery of this thing? They'll learn that in the United States government, if you're really corrupt, you can both get power and avoid the consequences of your corruption, which is not really a lesson that many of us had to be taught, but it's really front and center in this administration. And there's actually a bigger sort of academic research area here. Why did all of these career politicians bow down to Trump, who in the end is a reality TV host connected to organized crime and money laundering? And why did they put everything on the line for Trump? Is it that they're calculating there will be untold financial rewards to be reaped in the future? I mean, Rosenstein certainly can now go and make a ton of money lobbying or consulting or who knows what. But is there more to it? Like, why, even when we go back to Michael Flynn and Paul Manafort and all of these other shady characters, Why were they so willing to put themselves in harm's way for Donald Trump when Donald Trump has proven that his loyalty goes only as far as he happens to think you're a cool person that morning, and otherwise, that's it, it's over. They can't actually be dumb enough to think Trump is genuinely good for the country, can they? Or I may be being naive. Curious what people in the audience think about that. Today's episode is sponsored in part by the BRD Bitcoin wallet. Whether you have experience with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies or you've been wanting to give it a try for the first time, BRD offers the most elegant, easy to use Bitcoin wallet out there. It's an app on Android and iOS, lets you trade cryptocurrencies, store all of your Bitcoin and crypto on the app totally free, send and receive Bitcoin with the app, use a credit card to purchase cryptocurrency, and it's 100% private and secure, virtually impossible for someone to hack your account. BRD themselves won't even know your information. There are no logins, no passwords. You just use your key to access your Bitcoin, and you're the only one who has access to it. It was the first ever Bitcoin wallet in the iOS App Store. They've been around since 2014. They have more than 2 million users. BRD is one of the oldest, most established, and most trusted Bitcoin wallets in the industry. We recently interviewed Aaron from the BRD team, and it was a great conversation. You should search our channel for it and check it out. All BRD wants to do is to make Bitcoin more accessible and simpler to use for those who want to use it. And that's what they've accomplished with their super powerful, easy to use app. Download it. It's perfect for anyone who's just getting started with Bitcoin. Just as good if you already know what you're doing. I've put a link underneath this video.